All right. We should be live. We're a little bit early, but I was doing some looking into one of the things that had popped up in the chat thus far because you guys are awesome and hang out in the chats way before we actually hop in here. So, hello. So I wanted to hop in and go ahead and start talking about. Oh, I got to mute my stuff. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So, hey guys, how's it going, everybody in the chat room and everybody who's watching this afterwards? Welcome to Work After Hours. This is our bi-weekly live chat where we get on here and we just talk about guns. That's pretty much all we do. Tonight we've got Builder over there.
Hi.
Builder is my my local buddy, my sometimes cameraman, and the guy that makes me spend way too much money.
Co-pilot. Co-worker. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's right. You're my co-worker, and then they're the workaholics.
I'm your work associate.
My associate?
Yes.
Say hello to my associate. I just realized I'm like really off center. I don't know if it's because we're going to switch around a little bit. Wow. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't actually know the song.
That's sad. Okay, I'm just going to deal with being off center. Okay, so, guys, someone have a horse in their room. No, that wasn't a horse. That was, I believe, was that a dove?
Loon.
A loon. It was a loon. There you go.
Yep.
Okay, so the reason that we went live slightly early is because we had a question about the McArbo P07 trigger spring kit. Now, just looking at it, I am going to suggest not getting this kit, and here's why. It looks like a good price. I haven't added up the Cajun kit anytime relatively soon, but I'm guessing the Cajun kit probably comes out around this. So here are the reasons that I do not think that this kit is great. Reason number one is that their stock trigger pulls are low. Stock trigger pulls on a CZ P07 are around 12 pounds double action and around 8 pounds single action. 7 pounds single action. They're judging from 10 to 4.25. 10 for the double action, 4.25 for the single action. So automatically right off the bat, their stuff ain't right. Builder went all scrubby. So then their low trigger pull weight for a double action, that's supposed to be a single action. For their single action pull is 2.25 pounds. That's significantly too low for a P07. The P07 trigger breaks 2.2 pounds is you're going to get NDs all over the place. And I don't mean that, not NDs, you're going to get 80s. You put your finger on the trigger and it's going to go. The other reason is a claimed 50% trigger pull reduction. So looking at the components that you receive a few springs. You get a hammer spring, hammer spring, firing pin spring, a firing pin block spring. What else is included in here? A trigger spring, a sear spring. There's not a sear spring in that kit, by the way. In that picture, there's not a sear. Oh no, the sear spring on the P07. Okay, so there is a sear spring in there. And then some sandpaper. So in order for a P07's trigger pull to actually be reduced, you need regeometried components in there. So unless you're taking that sandpaper and actually cutting down a significant portion of the disconnector, you're not going to get a reduction in trigger pull. Trigger pull reduction requires a massive amount of geometry change within the trigger mechanism that you're not going to get through springs. So just with all of those, I would suggest not going that way. I would go the tried and true Cajun Gunworks way. You simply cannot go wrong with Cajun parts. Even CZ custom parts, I would suggest going Cajun unless you're like an actual gunsmith. So there you go. That is my opinion on the, I don't even remember what it was called now. The McArbo. Yeah, McArbo spring kit for the P07. If anybody from McArbo listens to this and you want to change my mind, I have a P07. Send me some stuff and I will put your stuff in and we'll see if it actually does what it claims it'll do. Plain and simple. But until then, I'm going to say no. Yeah, Pistol Pete, CZ Customs got good stuff, but they require more fitting. Most of their stuff isn't quite as drop and plug and play as the CZ as the Cajun Gunworks stuff. So there you go with that. Now that that's finished, Mr. Enlightenment says I need a bigger tumbler. I do need a bigger tumbler. Actually, this is the only thing that I use this for. Yeah, no, there you go. See? Builder knows what's up. We end up talking.
Ounces.
See, mine's like a 20. I think mine's a 24. So you got me beat by a metric mile.
You got to bump up those numbers.
Them's rookie numbers. But you end up talking through this thing so much, like you get parched, and I don't like to like leave to have to get a refill, so I get the biggest cup I got.
That sounded so manly,
didn't it? Your pinky out. So hey guys, typically instead of starting with a question like that, we usually start with some gun news, and I only have one thing of gun news this week because I slacked. I'm sorry, I slacked off. They have they have videos on the Spring Kits. Many things. Where's the bourbon? I did not. Yeah, no, I don't drink. So that's where the bourbon is. It's at someone else's house.
Did we cover the Hellcat in the last one?
Yeah, yeah, we did. Yep. Many things, but the problem with having a lot of liquids is you have to pee often. Well, what you guys can't see is me from the waist down, so you have no idea if I'm just sitting here peeing or not.
Is that why we put that drain in the floor of your basement?
Yes, it is. Yeah, right? I don't have car down here. What do I care? Hose that shit off. All right. How many dry fire reps should I get in a day? I don't know. Hey, Builder, do you do daily dry fire? Let me ask you that.
No.
I don't either.
I haven't dry fired in a long time.
I dry fire usually like the 2 nights before a match. I'll dry fire, and that's just so that I can get. And I really need to, because if you watch, well, my match video is coming out tomorrow, and if you watch that video, speaking of which, I should probably upload that. And speaking of which, Jordan comes in right as we're talking about peeing on the floor, and so if you watch my match video that's coming out, you'll notice that like. I'm getting better at shooting, and my reloads blow because I just don't practice them as much as I need to. Like I'll get to another stage and a moving reload, and I'll still be trying to fiddle the freaking magazine in there. So,
hi Ashley.
Oh, Ashley's here too. How's it going? See, Jordan. See, that's what we need. We need people in the chat who are willing to bring better people. Yep, I said that.
It reminds me of that scene from The Other Guys after he Mark Wahlberg has dinner with Will Ferrell and his wife.
Yeah.
Say bye. I don't think he heard me.
Gator don't play no. Anyway.
Gator needs his cat back, punk ass bitch.
Oh, Jordan's gonna get his ass banned tonight.
Ooh. Feelings have been hurt.
Hey, but we're in stereo. It's almost like we're in the same room, guys. Almost, not quite, but almost. So
high five.
So Jordan said, "Oh, wrong way. This way. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Hey, Chad, how's it going, man? George Washington's here. Oh, George Washington would like to know when we're going to get content from Builder.
That's a big fat never.
Builder's going to be in a video here in a couple of weeks.
I am.
I was
there for
half the time. Hey, you kicked my ass at the dueling tree.
I did. That was awesome.
Twide. So there was a question that I was going to. Hey, Anthony, how's it going? Thank you for subbing. Appreciate it much. That was as awkward as teenage girl. Well, Ashley, we've been called teenage girls before, so hey, Ghost Tacticals in the house. How's it going, man? I swear there was a question up there somewhere that I was trying. Oh, it's the dry fire and the reload thing. So yeah, as I said, I usually do dry fire a couple of times before, like the couple of nights before a match. And mostly what I'm doing is I'm making sure that when I draw from my holster, my dot's in the right place. because the first time I went out with the dot, that was my biggest problem, was catching the dot on the draw, making sure that it was in the right spot. So that's usually what I do. And then I don't do a lot of dry fire, unfortunately. I need to do more. I need to do dry runs and all that good stuff. So, yeah, and I need to practice reloads, as I said. Like, I slack at them. But you don't do it either, so that makes me feel better. Back to news.
I also haven't shot USPSA since April.
I know. So. I'm really mad at you. And I didn't shoot April, did I?
No.
So the one that you went to this year, we haven't shot USPSA at all together this year.
Yep.
And your ass is the one that got me into that.
It's true.
Expensive hobby.
It's true.
Thanks, bud.
I'm going to really have to put in the reps this winter because I'm going to be shooting production and you're going to be shooting carry optics, and I'm going to be running as fast as I can because I can only shoot so fast. So I'm just going to have to move faster. Your
splits are still faster than mine, even with the dot. They are.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Jordan asks, have any of you removed the front or both sights when running a red dot sight? No, I haven't. I still run my P10F. Does not have co-witnessing sights, but I just leave them on there because they don't get in there at all. My P10C has co-witnessing sights on the Norso slide, so I leave them on so that I have the co-witness. Builder, how about you?
I left my sights on, but they don't co-witness. They're just there.
Which is sad because you can literally buy co-witness sights for like $40 for yours because it's a Glock.
It's true.
We need to get on that.
Many things. I joined USPSA finally this year, and I've shot one classifier, and that was it. So, and then I got busy doing other stuff for the past 6 months. So I'm currently unclassified.
Nope. I'm trying to make his thing bigger. Yeah. So Manny Things asked, what's your classifications? So I joined this year as well. I've shot 3 classifiers. I've shot 2 Bs, and I got a 0 on one. That's right. A 0. So I will probably end up being classed as a low B, like just a B. And then Builder looks like he's probably going to end up being like a mid B off of what he's done before. We're just judging off of. Now, if
production class is dropping down so much, who knows where I'll end up too.
That's true. Now, if I was running production class, I would probably be shooting a high C. So I am better at carry optics. So, and I think it's more fun. That's why I run it. It makes me feel good about myself. And it's fun.
Steel.
I can
I
finally
saw that happen.
hit the steel a couple of times.
Yeah. Like enough that I was nervous on the dueling tree finally. Like, oh crap, that steel's movement.
I almost had you. Kathleen, I'm assuming you're asking, where is Humble? Humble is at an event tonight. He may be joining us in a little bit, but I'm not sure. It depends on what he's doing and how bored he is when he gets done with his thing that he's at. And high C does sound like a drink.
I thought the exact same thing.
We should just rename all of those just with like drink names. So you get like high C, and then what would it be? BB? A would be a Kool-Aid, right? No?
I'm not participating in this conversation.
Oh, you son of a gun. Oh, what is Humble as in classification? Humble is a master in production. Master? Yeah, I think he's a master in production and a very high A in carry optics. Humble makes us look like shit shooters on a regular basis.
He also shoots a lot more than we do.
Yeah, he said he cleared, I don't remember how many rounds it was, but it was well over 1,000 last month. I usually shoot about 500 rounds a month. Humble shoots significantly more than that. So, all right, Josh Terry said, let me see if I can actually get this big enough. There we go. It is big enough he can see it. So he says, I just shot my first USPSA match this past Saturday at Wildcat Valley Rifle. Oh, hey, how's it going, man? Looking at getting a new pistol for production class. What's a good starting CZ would you recommend? Okay. So first of all, how's it going? Next time you're at Wildcat, find me. I'm out there. I'll probably hit up the first match. I'm not going to be there next month at the November one. It sounds like they will have a November. I won't be there.
Oh, will they?
That's what it sounds like.
Ah, dang it!
What?
I won't be at that one either.
Yeah, no, for the same reason. Okay, so starting class CZ for production class. It depends on how much money you want to spend. There's two guns that I would suggest you go to. Gun number one is under $1,000. If you want to spend under $1,000, I would suggest a CZ SP01 with a Cajun Gunworks. I've actually got the what's it called, playlist on my channel here. Follow that playlist, and it's going to give you the rundown of all the things that you need to make it a sweet trigger, like really nice trigger. So that would be under 1,000. If you want to go over 1,000, you cannot do better in the CZ line than a Shadow 2. A Shadow 2. The Shadow 1, if you want a Shadow 1, if you really like the SPO1 look, the Shadow 1s are excellent guns. The Shadow 2s are just purpose-built for USPSA production class. They are right below max weight, and they're really nice guns. But yeah, I ran an SPO1 when I ran production, and I freaking love that gun. That's still my favorite shooting gun that I own.
So I would say I'd go a completely different way. If I was to recommend a gun that if you wanted to run a CZ, get into production class, which production class is just a gateway class, really.
That's true.
I would get a P10F optics ready. So that way when you decide you want to put an optic on it and go into carry optics, like literally everybody besides me, you can. You're already used to the gun, 100% used to the gun, used to the reloads, everything. All you're doing is shoving 9 more rounds in your magazine and running a dot.
It's true. The only hiccup there is that the F optic ready is a hard gun to find sights for. So if you don't like the stock sights, you're going to have a hard time finding better sights for it if you want to continue to run production. But that being said, production is it's a dying class. Carry optics is growing like crazy, and production is dying. So hopping up a little bit, Pistol Pete says no dots for me yet. You totally need to do it. I think we talked about this last time. You will, once you do it on one, you're going to want more of them. So yeah, it's kind of a gateway thing. Professor Pete says, get the manual safety SPO1 if you can. It's easier to work on. That's true. It is easier to work on. You can get a slightly better trigger with the manual safety SPO1. The hitch is that in USPSA, when you have a double action, single action gun, which is production. So when you have a production gun, you must start in hammer down. So if you have a single act, or if you have a safety only model, this goes for the Shadow 2 as well. You have to pull the trigger and lower the hammer. With a decocker gun, you just decock it. So the decocker gun, if you're nervous at all about lowering the hammer, the decocker gun is better in that case, and the trigger's not that much worse. But if you want the slightly better trigger, you got to go with the safety model. Builder, you want to talk about the Bull Shadow? You like that thing
a lot. Was sweet. I'm not even a CZ guy, and that was sweet.
I don't know if the Bull Shadow is USPSA compliant. So if you're buying it for USPSA, do some heavy research into that. If you're not buying it for USPSA and you just want one, buy it. It's beautiful. You know, CZ Custom, like, their stuff takes a little bit more gunsmithing to get to work. But man, their from scratch guns are gorgeous. Manny Thing says Carry Optics needs to be renamed to Poor Man's Open. That's almost, yeah. I mean, you could look at it like that. I'm not going to lie. I won't go open because I can't afford an open gun, so that's fair.
Sure, me too.
George Washington says, anybody gearing up for deer season? That's ironic. What'd we do today, Builder?
I'm almost done typing.
You don't type, you talk.
We were talking. To them. We literally just finished setting up his blind and checking my stand and clearing out a bunch of brush and stuff that had growing up over the past year, getting ready for deer season.
True. Getting all our spots set up.
We would use my blind, but it blew away last year.
You did find it though, didn't you?
Yeah. It was dead.
Yeah. My blind is nice. My blind was a gift. So
Kathleen, and STI, you can shoot STIs in different classes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can shoot an STI in depending on what model, you can shoot it in single stack, you can shoot it in limited 10, limited, or open, depending on what gun you have.
Just a second. I'm answering a text about guns from someone.
Jordan, I would have a hard time getting a 350 Legend, which is a fairly new caliper, in my opinion. And granted, Mac is the one that had all the issues with it, but he still had a bunch of issues with it. I'd get a 35 Remington lever action. I wouldn't hesitate on that at all. I mean, all the power in the world that you would need.
Who loves the 350 Legend? And
Ashley's going hunting for the first time. My wife is going hunting for the first time this year. I just finished getting her 7.62 AR sighted in.
Did I lose my opening day spot, or is she going later?
You can go on Monday.
Okay. That's fair. As long as if she gets a deer from my blind and I don't, I'm taking part of that deer.
Well, she'll sit out there more than an hour and 15 minutes and not be making YouTube videos too. So,
well, to be honest, if somebody else shoots a deer and disrupts everything in the area, then she gets a deer anyway. So,
yep,
she gets the deer one way or the other. Oh dear.
We were just talking about you making the YouTube video in the blind earlier today, and I was laughing. I was like, the only thing that would have made it better is if he was making that video when I shot my deer.
With the boom. That's true. That's true.
Oh, the issues was with the Winchester ammo. Okay, never mind then. I retract that statement.
I've heard good things about the 350 Legend. I have. Like, it looks, I would love to shoot one.
I would love a 35 Remington. But then again, I should probably just hunt with my 45-70. But
yeah, why aren't you doing that? You don't want to get it dirty.
I don't want to get it dirty till I get its replacement, so I can have the replacement to hand down to my kid, and then I can get this one dirty. Right now, this one's a hand down gun.
I don't know what the replacement is.
That octagonal barrel, the 26-inch that holds 9+1 of 45-70.
Yep, I remember that now. We got to touch and fondle it at NRAM.
I don't think you could honestly go wrong with a POF. Yeah, there's just no way you could go wrong with a POF. If you can afford them, they're going to run great.
Professor says, Winchester ammo, say it ain't not working, say it ain't so. Yeah, it's true. Winchester is, everything they have is meh.
Jordan has to be straight wall. Never mind, 350 Legend.
Yeah, that kind of, yeah, we were there too for a long time. We just changed about 3 years ago. So
Jordan, answer me this. Is 45-70 considered straight wall? Because it is a straight wall, but it's a tapered casing.
I'm pretty sure that still counts.
I think it is. Hey, Harry.
Hey, Harry, how's it going? Hey, you never messaged me back on the Instagram when I told you about this. I'm just throwing that out there. It was a little sad. I got over it real quick, but hey, how's it going? Nice. It's allowed in Iowa. All right. So when we come up to see you in Iowa, we can go hunting with his 45-70, and I don't have a gun that can go up there.
You're a muzzleloader.
Yeah, there we go.
You still have yours, right?
Hookah. I do. Yeah.
I got rid of mine.
I can't get enough for it to bother selling it.
I didn't sell it. I gave it to a buddy. He was like, I need a muzzleloader. And I was like, mine's broken. Do you want it? It's like, yeah.
All right. Edward says he asked a question about the Shield RMSW earlier.
Oh, that's their new one. I have not looked into it at all. I assume the W means wide, but I don't know.
Hey, gun websites. How's it going, man? Harry says you should build a 45-70 AR-10. I'm going up to look and see if I can find his question about the RMSW.
I think it was Nemo Arms actually made a 450. They made two 458 Win Mag. They're not AR-10s because they're the Nemos. They're built on the 300 Win Mag frame, but they built two in 458 Win Mag.
Two what?
Semi-auto 458 Win Mag.
Ooh.
ARs. For
right,
reference, the 458 Win Mag makes my 4570 look like a 22. I mean, it's a monster.
The W does not stand for wide.
Oh.
The W stands for waterproof.
Oh.
So that's the difference. It's a waterproof model, which means it will be slightly better. There's nothing. Okay. So the Shield gets a bad rap because it is a lightweight dot. That being said, its purpose is to be a lightweight dot. It's a small dot. So when people compare it to things like the RMR, of course it's going to fall apart and get smashed easier. It's a lightweight dot, but my only catch with it is that you are paying almost RMR prices for it. But if you have a gun, okay, so here's my view on dots. If you've got a gun big enough for an RMR and you want to spend RMR money, buy an RMR. That's if you don't want to spend RMR money and you have a gun big enough for an RMR, you buy a Holosun 507 or 407 CO. If
508.
Or 508. What was the 508?
It's just got other little improvements that I don't know what they are.
Okay. If you have a gun that's too small for a 506 or for an RMR, you buy the Shield. That's when you buy it. So like something that's narrow, like the Shield, the Smith & Wesson Shield, the Glock 43, 48, 43X, or the SIG P365 series. If you've got one of those, the Shield's a perfect fit. You're probably not going to smash them. And if you did, I mean, having an RMR on there, you'd probably snag something anyway and drop it even faster. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's my thought with dots, guys.
I like my dot, but I am definitely not overly sold on them. I'm an iron sight fan. I have this
I love
thing.
dots.
Okay, the 508's titanium.
I thought that was the 507T. Is it the 508T then?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm having this lately. I've been stressed out about an EMP attack. As stupid as that is, I know it's stupid and far-fetched.
It's my fault.
No, it's been going since I read that book.
Yeah.
Like 8 years ago. So it's been this recurring thing, and I hate electronics as I sit here on YouTube with my phone next to me and all this stuff. I don't want to rely my firearms to rely on electronic sites. So that's that.
Technically, they sit in
and I'm lazy, and batteries die.
Technically, they sit in gigantic Faraday cages anyway. If it's not on you. Sorry, I'm going back and going through the chat really quick. W stands for waterproof, and it's beefier.
Jordan, that would be an extremely amazing setup.
I'm sorry, I'm just going back to Harry. I want a black powder AR. God, could you imagine the gas tube in that? You get 3 shots off before you had to ream it out. Hold up, wait. Did you see my Instagram post?
Pause the volley. I did, yeah.
Oh, what was the guy's name in there? Stuart? No, I
think it was Stuart.
Samuel. That's even better. For sake, tap and rack, Samuel. This is it. They're shooting muskets, guys, and he tells them to tap and rack. Anyway, it's way funnier if you can see the picture, but this never works right when I try to show you guys the picture. So, I clicked. Oh, Humble's here.
Gentlemen,
hello?
How are you?
Boy, he looks
no,
funny.
It's just a face. It's probably because I didn't see him.
No, I turned off my camera, so you shouldn't be able to see me.
Okay. So, but we can hear you better now that we can't see you.
That's great news. I'm
Yeah,
glad
it
to hear
is.
that. I'm glad to
I'm-
glad to hear you guys.
I'm
How are
glad
things
to hear
going
you
this
too,
evening,
man.
gentlemen?
they're going. They are going. We're here and we're talking about guns and stuff. So quite fitting.
What stuff have you talked about this evening?
That we don't dry fire practice enough.
I
AR-15
could have
or
told you that.
Kick 'em
ARs
off.
in black powder. See, what else did we talk about? Which CZ for production?
None of them. Next question.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You jumped on that Glock train.
So let me
Toot.
regale you with the story about me taking a CZ to the range this week.
Aw.
Was it one of Big Johnson's?
No, it was one of mine.
Oh,
It was
what?
my PO1 Omega.
Okay.
And this gun has not been shot a lot. I go to the range this week because one of my buddies is considering getting one to start carrying. So I bring all my holsters to the range and let them shoot it and all that good stuff. And within, I don't know, 50 rounds of bringing it to the range, the trigger return spring breaks. And I'm just like, well, this is pretty typical. And I'm going to put this one back in the safe and forget I own it. So, yeah, that was my CZ range story this week.
Quick question: is it raining?
I don't know why you would say that.
I'm just checking. I know that you're sitting extremely close to a window, basking in the nice, cool fall breeze right now. So I was just
That's
curious.
True. All of these things are true. I'll work on muting myself so y'all don't have to listen to me.
Manny Things would like to know if we're going to be seeing a Romeo 3 Max review from you, Humble.
If you can convince 6 Hour to send me one, then yes. If I have to spend $700 or you can't come up with 699 friends to help crowdfund that, then no.
There we go. Yeah, dots are really expensive to buy just for T&E. And then you end up buying like a US Optic dot. That's how much was that? I spent like $350 on it, and it's not on a gun.
I was going to ask you what happened to that.
It's sitting right here. It's waiting for me to get off my butt and get my P365 milled. I just haven't.
So Humble, we shot a video spoilers in the future. We shot an MPX with a Romeo 4 on it. That Romeo 4 was amazing.
That MPX was amazing.
The profile on the outside is so thin.
Was it? I mean, honestly, was it everything about it was amazing? You just kind of like how the dot looked, because my Romeo 1, while I enjoy it, is not like my Hollow Sun is a much better dot for less money than the
dot
Romeo
itself
1 was.
Yeah, the dot itself wasn't anything to write home about, but the field of view and how thin the bezel was. I mean, you almost lost zero. You almost had zero blind spot. It's just really nice.
I do really like that about the Romeo 1 is it does have an amazing field of view, but the adjustment, like everything else about the dot sucks. Like you adjust the intensity up and down, and the button feels like they stole it from a calculator in the 1980s, and the windage elevation, like it would click, but the elevation adjustment would not click. So you were just like, maybe that's 2 clicks, I think. But whereas the Hollow Sun, it feels as quality made as like a Trijicon. So, I mean, I'm pretty high on Hollow Sun right now. I think that of the not major brands of dots, they're the best.
Sorry, I'm reading. So, where was I? Harry asks, should the standard PO1 be more durable than the Omega? Should it? Yes. Is it? No. The trigger return spring still sucks on them?
It's the same piece on both guns. So,
yep.
I mean, it's a flaw in the CT design that
and
they should have got figured out.
The frustrating part is you can replace it and not have the problem anymore. If you can buy an aftermarket component for a gun and that fixes a fatal flaw in that gun, there is no excuse for that component to still be in that gun. That's my biggest problem with CZ right now.
Like plastic sights on a Glock?
Yes.
But I mean, if you're honest about it, the CZ sights all suck too. Like everybody puts crappy sights on their guns.
Yeah, but at
And
least the CZ ones don't break off.
Well, that's fair. But the trigger return spring, 1,500 rounds and almost no dry fire on that gun. Like, that's inexcusable to have a gun that's considered a duty rated gun. It can't make it through 1,500. It made it. I did the math today because I keep logs. It made it through 1,560 something live fired rounds, and it was maybe dry fired. I don't know. I mean, I never did dry fire sessions. I would just kind of pick up the gun every once in a while and do a couple trigger pulls, no more than any casual gun owner would do. So it's not like I accelerated the wear on it.
So Chad Olds just said CZ's been putting new trigger return springs in newer guns. The olive drab green P07 and a P09 that he has have a red trigger return spring, which is definitely not the trigger return spring that we've had in ours.
That's the Shadow 2 return spring, and that is a much better trigger return spring.
All right.
I love that spring.
Well, there we go. So maybe they did fix it on newer models. They finally got up off their butt.
It makes it closer to 15,000 rounds before breaking, but it's still not fixed.
Yeah, and it's just sad because you can go to Cajun, you can buy their trigger return spring and not have to worry anymore. So
no, it's that spring still breaks, man. I broke one of those at 5,000 rounds. Heck yeah. No, the Cajun spring's worse than the Shadow 2 spring, in my opinion.
Is it just the style of spring, the fact that it's an outward flexing spring? What breaks off? Does it break at the coil, or does it break at one of the legs?
The legs break.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it's really, really close to the coil every time. It's like just as the leg kind of comes off that spring. And the fact that this is an OEM gun that I've never taken down to pins and springs before, so there's no chance that I can say like, yeah, well, when I was reinstalling the spring, I torqued it wrong, and that's why it fatigued and broke. Like, no, this is just how it came from the factory. So that's kind of lousy.
Yep. Really quick, going back in the chat to touch on something that Builder already did touch on. Yeah, Harry, the MPX. If you want to spend the money, get the MPX. We just did a pistol, a PCC shootout this last Wednesday, I think, and the MPX is just a sweet, sweet gun compared to. We ran the CZ Scorpion, which the MPX beat it hands down, and actually we ran our Strybogs. And the Strybogs beat the Scorpions.
And the PC9.
And the PC. We ran the PC9 as well, yeah. Which was really nice. But I would not suggest the PC9 for, if you're trying competition, don't run that.
Okay, so, sorry, Edward posed a question about a TactiPack.
Here we go,
holster.
Okay.
Asked about it twice, so I looked him up. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 would not try, hands down.
Is it like a belly pad or belly band thing?
It's like a really improved belly band. It looks like a hybrid tuckable holster with a belly band attached to it.
Oh. Yeah,
it's $100.
There's I don't like
$100, man. What a value. I mean,
right?
That's like 2 Alien Gear holsters and a I don't know, clip draw or something. That seems like a good value.
I don't know. For $100, you could get a lot better holsters than that are going to hold your gun where you want it. I mean, you're almost in a.
But do they hold your gun
you're in
so
tier
you can look good?
Yeah, that's true. You're in tier 1 concealed price range. I mean, there's plenty of good companies. Harry's price range if you're right-handed.
You're well above Harry's price range at that point.
Right, correct, yeah.
Like honestly, I don't like beltless holsters. Because I don't like not having a belt, but all the beltless holster solutions that I've seen just look dangerous, pretty much.
Sounds like a hard pass.
Yeah, Manny, I just saw today that Henry has those anodized turbo drops in stock. I actually have one of the Bear or clear coated or whatever turbo drops, and that thing is awesome.
So Jordan says, what bad stuff does Humble have to say about the P10 series? Humble, would you like to share?
P10 is a good gun. There's plenty of stuff to say bad about it. I mean, I'll give you my single biggest negative comment, and it only is applicable if you have large hands. And the fact is their backstrap system does not modify the length of pull on the trigger at all. So the grip angle that you get with their small backstrap is ridiculously different from the grip angle you get from their large backstrap. So most other platforms, when you change the backstrap out, it changes where the radius at the underside of the grip tang is. And so it's still a consistent feel. Like the gun feels the same, other than the length of pull is increased and maybe the sides of the gun are fatter. But with the P10, if you put the large backstrap on, you've got Glock grip angle with a grip tang that's not really intended to have that level of engagement. So like the P10 really shines with the medium and small backstraps, but if you put the large on it, it just feels weird. And I would have really appreciated a large backstrap to increase the length of pull that kept the same ergonomics rather than warping them to some kind of crazy alien swollen thing at the bottom of the grip.
There you go. Other than that, the P10, I mean, it's a nice gun. If you've got like normal size hands, it's a good option.
It fit my hands okay, and I wear large size gloves.
No, the gun returns to zero amazingly well. Like it is hands down one of the better guns that absorbs recoil. Like the recoil impulse is sharper than on my Glocks because, I mean, when you get a really low bore axis gun like a P10 or a Archon, like there's just more of the force coming straight back into your hand just as a result of not losing momentum as the fact of muzzle rise. But the fact that it's set up the way it is, like I was able to very quickly learn how to return the gun to zero to a level I cannot do on my Glocks. So, I mean, it is a platform that is worthy of picking up and learning. It's just that I feel like they mismanaged the crap out of it. Like they took what is a very good design and they just like, how can we make this a solid C+ offering? Like, well, how about we don't sell optic plates for the optic ready guns, and we'll just do these backstraps, and so Americans can't get their hands on the gun properly.
Yeah, those
do it.
Two changes would have taken that gun from like what it is now, which is a contender with like the Masada, up to actual battling with Glock as far as this is the reigning polygun in carry optics, I think.
Yeah, it's the way it returns to zero is brilliant. Like I think they had a missed opportunity on the shape of the trigger. Like an HBI trigger probably fixes all of my gripes with the trigger. It's not the pull weight or the character of it, but it's just the fact there's a hump in the center of it, and it makes it more difficult to pull straight to the rear. Like you have to be very intentional in getting it straight to the rear. So I have an issue with precision on the P10, but I'm sure I could learn it if I had enough time to sit down and figure it out. But
or cared enough.
Just quickly. Yeah. Well, I mean, like the Masada I picked up and I could immediately shoot groups as good as I could on my Glock because the ergonomics of that gun are phenomenal. And the CZ has a pretty good set of ergos, but that trigger shape, just like there's a very small point that you have to, if you pull your trigger with the tip of your finger like I do, then it's just a very fine point you have to make contact with and pull straight to the rear, where Masada has a flat all the way across the front trigger. So if you're making contact with the face of the trigger, it's pretty easy to pull straight to the rear. I hope that all of the American gun sellers get away from this stupid curved trigger face.
Yeah, they probably won't.
Yeah, they won't. I mean, we still have 3-dot sights for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
Yeah, it's way too much in the gun industry relies too heavily on on the what has always been model. You know, like with sights, what has always been. I mean, obviously 3-dots haven't always been, but they've been around since the 80s. And we're looking 30 years later, we're still running 3-dot sights with just white dots on the sights. You know, and it's just insane. 3-dot. I still say 3-dot sights are the biggest farce in the firearms industry. They're a fallacy. They teach people improper shooting, and I hate that. And I hate that because it happened to me.
The P10 got it more right than any other service gun in the segment. I mean, they have properly better sights, but they're still not great. I mean, when you take those sights out, my problem with those is like, are they better than target sights when you're shooting in the daytime? No, they're not.
Correct.
If you shoot them in the nighttime, like, is having a single front night sight better? Maybe in lowish light, but in the dark, like, you shouldn't be shooting anyway.
Right.
So at what point is it like, what is that front sight that's a tritium sight really getting you other than marketing material to sell guns?
Right. I like front big dots a little bit more than I like for quick shots, self-defense shots, more than I like fiber. And I know that's not what you like, but that's to me, that sighting system works just a little bit better. But that being said, you know, they would still, I don't know. I'm trying to remember if my P10, give me just a second.
So to my issue is that orange front sight on the P10F.
Yep.
It's really great for that first shot you break. Like, it's like, there it is. It's gorgeous. I see it. It's orange. How can I not see it? But if you start trying to shoot in anger at all, it just quickly becomes the shape of the sights. It's a notch and post sight. Like, you don't even see the orange if you're shooting fast. Like, a fiber at least glows so you can track it in recoil, but just the orange paint just doesn't get it done to really be a high-vis front.
Yeah, they need if they're going to go orange, they need to go with a little bit more luminescence. The HDs on my Glock, my now gone RTF2, was that they've got like a really nice yellow color, and that will actually catch your eyes to an not quite fiber optic, but almost fiber optic level. That was a really nice set of sights.
Yeah, I have those sights on, I think they're on my 43 now. And like you said, they're not fiber optics, but they're pretty darn close. I mean, and it's stupid that $150 sights are pretty darn close to $50 sights as far as picking them up as quick. But when I got the HDs, I wasn't at the same point in shooting that I am now, where I would be much more comfortable now just putting fiber optic front and black rear if I didn't have a dot, and running that on my carry gun. But
yeah, so
you should just get a TFX Pro for your front sight work and call it a day. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, so to throw this out there for those of you in the chat who don't know, TFX Pros suck. They suck.
I've wasted money on those. You've wasted money on those.
Yep.
Okay, I wasted money long before either one of you guys were even into guns on TFOs.
Ooh,
the originals.
Honestly,
no.
TFOs are better.
I had TFOs. That was my sight that I had that made me realize, like, these things are garbage. So, yep, I had TFOs.
Yeah, and that's the thing that most people don't seem to understand when I point out that TFX Pros suck, is that I spent the money on that. Like, I'm willing to eat that crow to save you $100 on crap sites. So Ashley,
they're like $140 now.
That's insane.
The TFOs were $100.
That's insane. Those are not good sites. They're a gimmick. So Ashley would like to know, how many rounds do you get before your fiber breaks or falls out?
So I have 3,000 rounds through my AmeriGlow fiber optic front on my 34, and it's never broken. And I broke the fiber on my Beretta on my holster. And it's like,
yeah, it's a dependent on your holster fit. So my old Shadow 2 had a crappy holster. It was Red Hill Tactical. Not to say bad things about them, but that had a bad sight channel. and I would get like a solid 700 to 1,000 rounds with daily dry fire before I would shear the bulb on the front of the sight, so I'd lose my fiber. But other than that, like, it takes probably a few thousand rounds before you smoke the fiber to the point that it gets cloudy and doesn't glow like a new rod would. But it's not really a big deal. If you keep some matches in your range bag and you buy it, fiberopticproducts.com, I think, sells a yard of fiber optic piping for about $9. So you spend $10 and you're in fiber for a very long time.
Yeah. So Harry says that SIG's SAS also sucks unless the tritium in the guns that he's seen is dead. I have heard that from way more than just you, man. I know at least 4 or 5 people have messaged me and let me know that their SAS sight, it doesn't work unless you have like a top light. I just talked to somebody at the match this last weekend, and he said I was trying to convince him to get rid of it, and he said that he's holding his light over it in low light situations. I'm like, you shouldn't have to do that. Like, it shouldn't matter where you hold the light. You know, within.
Are you telling me the gimmick sight is not going to solve any problems?
I know, right? Like, who seriously?
You know what that is?
A lot of stuff on clothing. A sight hasn't been one of them.
In the 80s and 90s, I think it was, Colt made I think they called it the Defender. Big Johnson might be able to help me out with this one. But it was an officer's model 1911, and it didn't have any sights. It just had a trough cut down the center of the slide all the way down. And all this is a remake of that.
Yeah, oh, yeah, Border. Sounds like a good system.
You just put the bad guy in the trough and pull the trigger. You're shooting a 45. It's fine.
One shot will take off his arm.
Why? Because I'm old? No, because you have more knowledge than me.
Stopping power.
I figured you might have owned one at some point.
I'm not that old.
Not you. I was talking about Big Johnson. Wasn't calling him old. You just own more stuff than me.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, it's true.
No. This is good. All right, I got to check my Facebook really quick because so I shared the live chat on a few different websites or on a few different Facebook pages. First of all, Gun Nation's missing.
Glock Nation.
Yeah, Glock Nation's gone off of Facebook. Is
it really?
Yeah. I got 4 denials to share my link to this video saying this post goes against our community standards. What is that crap?
From Facebook or those individual groups?
From Facebook. Yeah, it was
That's
Facebook
weird.
Like screening my shares to the other pages. Wow. Awesome. So hey,
glad we've got that nanny keeping us safe.
I know. Not only are they stifling us on YouTube now, so our numbers are down, our revenue is down, but now we can't even share stuff on Facebook. That is awesome. Yeah, I love this. Being a gun channel is fun.
Hey, one of you people listening to this, go and make a tech company that's wildly successful.
Yeah, could you guys just get on that real quick?
Do this on, please.
There's got to be somebody smart in the chat. I mean, everybody in the chat is smart. You're all geniuses. Grouped together.
I thought this was America.
America. Yeah, well, it is. Unfortunately, Facebook is not.
No, it isn't.
Manny Thing says, what's Facebook? Yeah,
it's where old people go to flirt.
That's true. You want to hear something sad? I was actually so Facebook came out in early 2004. I was in one of the first groups in 2004, in the fall of 2004. They sent it out to satellite universities, which one of them was Purdue University, the college that I was going to at the time. And I've been on there since the beginning, since its inception. Otherwise, I probably would have left by now, but I kind of feel attached.
I got a notification today in Facebook that I've been on Facebook 15 years to the day.
Oh gosh, you're old. So you were on an 04 too.
Yes, it was. I was one.
Yeah.
I was at Georgia Tech, which was one of the first. It wasn't one of the first 10 schools that they opened up into the beta, but it was one of the first 25.
Yeah.
So
so you're in almost the same time as me.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to a previous statement I had made. Don't worry, Big Johnson. I figured it out. It is the Colt New Agent, and it's called a trench sight.
Mandy Things. Go ahead. Finish up, Builder.
That's it.
Okay, Mandy Things posts a fun question. If you could have an open race gun, who would you have make it?
High Point.
Damn it.
Shit, yeah, brother.
Could you imagine
I would say
if you were good enough?
Why would you not? If anybody could have an open gun, like why is the answer not Infinity? Like, yeah, Infinity. That's.
Could you imagine being good enough that you could be sponsored by High Point, have a High Point open gun, and win? Like you're talking Nils and JJ Rakaza and all them.
Oh, you know what? That being said, the Checkmate's an open gun, right?
Yeah.
If you want to break barrel lugs, that's your Huckleberry.
Do they break barrel guns like crazy?
Supposedly they fixed it, but I can't talk to anybody who shot more than like 5,000 rounds through a gun. But supposedly the old Checkmates, not the new ones, would shear barrel lugs. Like their linkless barrel has that peanut underneath it, and that would break. And they would break slide stops like crazy. And so supposedly they fixed it. That's what I hear. But since they fixed it, I haven't spoken to anybody who has shot more than 10,000 rounds through the gun.
5,000 rounds like 2 minutes ago, Humble. Now you're just raising the...
Well, it's the same number if they haven't shot 5,000.
That's true.
No. So, I mean, you have to consider that you're when you're stepping up to that level of gun, you're making an investment in a slide-in frame that you're going to use for a very long time.
Yes.
And
you're putting a lot of rounds through those, because if you're investing in that, you're going to be good enough that you need to shoot that many rounds.
And, well, regardless, like, your barrel needs to not break on a 4-digit scale. Like, it needs to go on for a high 5-digit. Like, you need to shoot out the rifling. You don't need to replace it because you broke the damn thing. So,
who's JJ?
JJ Rakaza.
Oh, yeah, he'll be shooting a 92X, I'll bet.
It's already made. It's on his Instagram. It's an open 92X.
Dang. How'd they pull? It's
not in production. It's not in production yet.
No, it's just his.
See you, Kyle. Thanks for hanging out, man.
He shot a Limcat at Limited Nationals, and it broke, and then he changed to, I think it was an Atlas, like after the Limcat went down. And in open nats, I think he shot a Limcat.
What?
Limcat. He shot Limcat at Nationals.
That's a gun name.
It's a kind of like a premium labeled 1911 builder.
Oh my gosh. So this is an off topic. I'm just warning you. So 2A 3D print has now created. So I don't know if you guys saw the pumpkin mag extension that he did.
Big Johnson has one.
Yeah, now he's got nutsack mag extension, complete with dual little.
So you're telling me I can buy truck nuts for my Glock?
For your guns, yeah. For your Glock, no less. You know what? That's the only saving graces thing.
It was Big Johnson's idea.
So this is your fault that we have to see the balls on our Instagram. Thanks, Big Johnson. Thanks.
I was worried. I was like, they don't make those tactical nut sacks to hang off my pick rail anymore. How can I get a pair of genitals on my Glock. And then Big Johnson's like, hold my beer. I got this figured out.
Well, I mean, within. Damn it. Oh, Big Johnson. This is why we can't have nice things.
I just think Humble needs to run only those base pads in at least one match. And every time one of his mags hits the ground, he goes, "Oh!"
Oh, Jordan's got it. It's his Glock and balls.
Glock and balls. There we go.
Oh, Big Johnson
named the hang lows.
We need a soundboard to make the rim shot on that. That was the winning comment of the evening so far.
Humble. Harry says that Humble needs a set of truck nuts for your car.
Yeah, that looked real good on the old Volkswagen. Nice set of truck nuts.
Heck yeah. That's just I've never gotten into that. Something about hanging extra balls on things just seemed kind of counterintuitive.
It takes compensating to a whole new level.
It does. It really does.
It just does.
Oh. So anyway, in other news, hey, you know what? You know what happened? We never covered the news story that we were supposed to cover an hour ago. Never. So let's continue to not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the only news that I have this week is that Smith & Wesson finally released their 2.0 subcompact. So they essentially brought back the original compact, but they're now calling it the subcompact. But guess what? They still don't have regular size optics ready models.
Yeah, they do though. That's actually like one of my buddies on Austin PD has one. Like they are coming. They are a thing. I can tell you the model number that they're going to be, but they're just not announced yet. And I don't know what the heck's taking them so long to do it. Like they pioneered with the core, and they're like, you know what? We're going to make this new gun, but we're not going to put optics on it. It's just, at this point, if you don't have an optics-ready variant, you're irrelevant. Like, you can't make a service gun that doesn't have them. Like, we're all moving that direction.
If they start dropping that 5-inch in an optics-ready, I mean, it's going to be a $450 gun. They are going to just start slaying with it.
Well, can you imagine the shape of the modern market if they had led with an optics-ready gun?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you could buy a $500 Smith & Wesson core on the M2.0, which is better in pretty much every measure than their old gun, it's just, what's the point of even looking at other plastic guns at that point?
When a Glock MOS is $700 for a Gen 534, or you could get the M&P for $500.
It makes it makes it tough to argue with.
The MSRP for it is $569, by the way, for non-carry optics subcompact size gun.
So it'll be sub $500. I mean, those guys discount those things hugely.
It better be. So Manny Things would like to ask, you could change anything about carry optics, what would it be? About the carry optics class in USPSA, I'm assuming he means. He says he would like to see carry magwells allowed.
Yeah, carry magwells is something I've thought about. I think that would make it kind of interesting.
It would. Because they have magwell limitations in single stack, don't they?
They do, yeah. You have to fit the box.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be. Trying to think.
That's the only thing you can't do. I mean, outside of a comp.
Right.
That's pretty much all you can't do in carry optics.
Yeah, I mean, the only other constriction really is weight. And honestly, the weight for a carry optics gun is relatively high. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would.
Yeah, I could see dropping I would do that first. I would remove the weight limit just because it doesn't matter. Like,
right.
When you get to load the guns all the way full, the weight difference is not as severe as when you only have 10 rounds in them.
Right.
So
Well, and
I don't see the problem.
That would open up the Shadow 2 with like normal milling, because they gotta cut a lot out of it right now in order to make them make. So it'd be nice to be able to slide that in. Then maybe CZ would get their crap together and make an optics ready Shadow 2.
But if you study they have one, but they don't sell it in the U.S. because it's not legal.
But does it make weight?
But no, it doesn't. That's why they don't sell it here. But they've had one for a year and a half or whatever. But if you study the field in USPSA NACS this year on carry optics, like CZ is not the evident choice. Like if you looked at 2018 production,
yep,
and looked at the top 20, it was very obvious that CZ had a lot of the right things going because there were a ton of people shooting CZs. Like now the field is really opened back up, and I would say it's trending towards SIG more than anything.
Yeah. I really think that the X5 Legion is it's not gonna change the game, but it's really gonna pressure the other companies like Glock and CZ to put, probably not CZ because they don't give a crap, but it's gonna push Glock to do.
Yeah, they think America's stupid.
Yeah. Well, they apparently think we're stupid enough to build an entire manufacturing facility.
It's sad when you think that Glock gives a crap too.
Well, that's true, because I mean, how many times have we just said, just do this one thing and you'll make us happy? But I think
check out this brand new Gen 2. Sorry, Gen 5.
Yeah,
Glock has done more for the American market than CZ has in the past year.
Yeah,
and if you consider they launched Gen 5, it was okay, and they're like, hey, this front moon cutout sucks, and we really want forward cocking serrations. And apparently, it was just embedded into Glock's culture that no, there's no reason for front cocking serrations. And Shane Coley and several other prominent figures within Glock who are American, like, no, you're stupid. This is how people rack slides now. Get on board or get out of the way. And now all of the MOS guns have them, and I think eventually they're going to switch over so all Gen 5 guns have them.
So here's what I think the Gen 5 changes should have been. The barrel that they changed, the trigger that they changed, front cocking serrations across the board, the magwell changes that they made, and the 17 slide should have had an extended dust cover to be able to make the what we call the 19L. Those are what I think they should have. So they really only missed it.
But you would have had to change the barrel anyway.
What do you mean?
You can't put a 17 slide on a 19.
Correct.
Without a different barrel.
Why?
So get a comp on a 45.
I'll let you try it
a day.
But you got to get it back apart.
Well, then they need to change. What's changed in the back barrel geometry?
No, something.
Okay. That's fair.
You can't put a 17 barrel on a 19.
Okay. Well, they should have made that happen. Anyway, so crap, there was something else in the chat that I was going to run back on. And I don't remember what it was. Allow PDWs in carry optics? No. Harry would like to see
get out of here.
Right. Harry would like to see some a single action only carry optics division. That's called open, isn't it?
We got one of those. It's called open.
I do think that the single action.
For some reason, I just went to cowboy action revolvers.
You would like to see a cowboy action?
That's what I was just thinking. Out there with a peacemaker with an RMR.
Oh God, that would be awesome.
I would like a subgun class.
Those in open too.
Yeah, I'd like a subgun class. It would obviously be a completely new class, but a class for like braced pistols.
Why?
Because I have a
because we're the pores. No, you don't. I have it.
Oh yeah. No, I do. Ha!
You do? Oh, you do. Ha! Dang it. Yeah, you do. No,
I'm not making any more divisions for pores. Sorry, you get carry optics and that's it.
Dang it. Yeah, open for pores.
That's right.
That's effective too. That's pretty true. So, Humble, how is your 407 CO doing?
It's good. Inside 25 yards, it's absolutely brilliant. Like I can actually shoot small groups with it inside 25 yards. But if you stretch it back to 50, it's not brilliant. I was sad to see how not brilliant it was.
Is that 8 MOA? Is that right?
Yes, it's 8 MOA, but I think it's bigger than 8 MOA. Like I use Dawson co-witness irons, and it is as wide as my front sight on my Dawson. And I was looking at my 34 this morning in dry fire, and my 5 MOA dot is about half the size of my front sight. So I think that what is 8 MOA, I think, is what's clear to the inside of that ring. I think it actually is like a 10 MOA outside to outside.
Because isn't that on the Delta Point Pro? Is that a 9 or a 13 MOA triangle?
7.5.
7.5. Oh,
yes.
Holy cow!
Similar size.
Triangle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the point of the triangle your point of aim?
If you set it to that,
you can make it be that.
Okay. What are you supposed to do?
Whatever you want.
Okay, that's fair.
Most guys I know who use it just center it in the center of the triangle.
Okay. Yeah,
but it's easy to track and recoil. It's very easy to quickly see whether you're going to miss your target or not. So that's what I really like about it. Like it traditional pistol ranges. But what I don't like about it is, I mean, my 5 MOA dot extends the range of my Glock 34 to be accurate out to 100 yards. Mm-hmm. And I stopped being accurate probably. I'm more accurate than I'd be with irons at 50, faster, but not a whole lot more.
So it is definitely a gaming only dot, more than likely.
Well, I'd say it's still good for concealed carry. I think you can do better.
25 yards, you're not going to take
iron sights.
That's true.
You're not typically. I mean, I can't imagine you would take more than a 25-yard shot concealed carry.
Yeah, but at the same time, with my dot, I could.
Right.
With the 507C, I could see just turning on both reticles and calling that good because it's a similar effect. I mean, it's a little bit nicer to have the tighter circle on it rather than 32 MOA, which is cartoonishly large.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it was like a 15 MOA circle and a 2 MOA dot, that'd probably be a sweet spot.
I wonder if they could get that tight. I wonder if they have a problem with the directional of it. Or not the directional, but trying to get the dot split that closely. I don't know.
You'd really have to mess with your brightness.
Yeah. I'd like to try that though. So Hollison, if you come out with that, let us know.
Yeah, they'll send you a link to fill out, and then they'll never email you.
That happened to you too?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you go to fill in that link again, and it's deactivated, and then you email them again, and they don't ever get back.
I never went that far with it. I took the message the first time.
Oh, I don't get the message. You don't email me back. You don't answer me. If you want me to stop, you email me back and you just say, hey, we don't do that, which I've gotten a few times. But if you don't message me back, I take that as an opening, and I just keep harassing. Humble Jordan would like to know any feedback on the IWI Masada yet.
Yeah, I did my videos on that. Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's a good gun.
Yeah, so
the
Jordan,
biggest
hop over
gripe I've got on that is, the biggest gripe I have on that is the stippling on the grip is not as aggressive as I would like it to be. But other than and the sights, that would be also a very large gripe. The sights it comes with are worse than Glock sights in my opinion. But other than that, it's a really good gun. It's if you mount it with a dot and get a good zero, it is very easy to shoot accurately. It's stupid easy to shoot well.
Yeah, I played around with one a little bit. My biggest complaint besides the sights was it's unfortunate, but the texturing on the grip makes it feel cheap. It's not cheap. I mean, you can tell once you take it apart and look at it, you can tell that it's a well-made gun, but it feels like a cheap Ruger, unfortunately.
That's what a PX4 feels like to me. It's not a cheap gun, but it feels like one in my hand.
Yeah, it's weird how the texturing of the smooth parts of plastic can do that. They could just cheapen up the feeling of a gun to the point where it's meh. Let's see. There was another question here somewhere. Oh, Humble. Many Things would like to know how Max Mitchell did.
So I'm going to use a technical term if you don't follow USPSA circles to describe this to you. He knocked my dick in the dirt at the match, and he won the match overall. So he
were you in his squad?
I was not in his squad. I was about 5 squads, I guess technically behind him. I think he was squad 5. I was squad 10.
How many squads were
there? There were 11, maybe.
Wow.
11 squads.
How many stages?
11.
Okay.
But it was a good match. Like, it was all open targets, and then they got you by using mini poppers close up. So you're like, I don't have to aim at this mini popper because everything's a hoser target. And it's like makeup shot, makeup shot, makeup shot. And it's like, okay, I've just tanked my stage because I didn't have any discipline. So yeah, I definitely, that's where I lost most of my time, was makeup shots.
Yeah, I don't, did I watch that whole video? I don't know anymore.
I did not.
I watched a good half of it. It looked like a fun one.
He was obviously Max won the match. I was 74.89% of Max.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, it is.
I wanted to be in the 80s, so I was disappointed. But even if I take away all my sins, it still wouldn't have been an 80% match. But looking at him, I got to watch him shoot 2 stages. And watching him shoot, I see a lot of holes in my game that I can hopefully shore up here in the next few months to elevate it.
Because he is Grandmaster, right?
Yeah, you could call him that.
Does he set the Grandmaster bar?
Well, to give you a basis of comparison, our local GM, Dazzy, was 90% of Max Michel. And Dazzy has shot over 100% classifier on the past 4 classifiers I've shot with him. Dazzy is extremely good. He's a very good shooter. And Max crushed him just as well. So, I mean, Max is on a different playing field from your typical, like, think of the best guy at your club, and then think of somebody who makes him look like a little B-word, and that's Max.
So, Manny Things has a question. I'm going to take a shot at it before you answer. So, he asks, why did Max leave open and go carry optics? So, my shot at this is the same reason one of our local masters left open to go carry optics. He's sick of fiddling with guns that don't work consistently. He wants to be able to pick up a gun, go shoot a match, and not have to worry about the gun not working. So, Humble, why did Max leave open and go to carry optics?
For a paycheck?
Oh, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's
Sig said, please shoot carry optics for us. Here's a check.
He's been shooting for Sig Sauer for how many years now? Since he left the AMU, whenever that was, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever it was. And he has been not competing with SIG guns ever since then. Like, his open guns are not SIG guns. Somebody else is making those for him. So all of a sudden there was a division that he could compete in with SIG products that was most of the way to open. And I think it was probably just kind of a match made in heaven. I think SIG correctly read the tea leaves. Like, it's a 9mm high cap division. Like, this is going to take off. And I think that Max, Max is Max, and he's just going to shoot a dot. He's a dot shooter, so I don't think he cared much.
Kanik is doing that with Nils too, right?
Yeah, and I mean, JJ left open to shoot carry optics too. I mean, a lot of open shooters are finding homes in carry optics. I mean, I'm kind of wanting to go the other way. So if you know a 2011 builder who wants to give me a gun, then I'm happy to go shoot open. But yeah,
our local guy doesn't build 2011s anymore, so no can do.
He did though, and they were majestic.
They were. Harry would like to know what open gun. I'm assuming he was talking Max was shooting.
I think it was a SIG slide, and then I don't know who built the frame.
Do 2011s use 1911 slides?
Yeah, they do.
Do we know? I don't know.
I mean, the parts kit is pretty much identical. Like they share all of the
Right.
fire control pieces.
Right. Minus the
They're
trigger.
all the same.
Minus the trigger.
Yeah,
The trigger is
trigger
different.
bow
'Cause
is
the bar's
different.
got to be. Yep. And then all the slide components are the same. But I just didn't know if the slide itself was the same or if it was slightly wider, or I don't know.
Ooh, I got a fun 1911 story.
Go for it.
So my dad ordered from RK Guns a Rock Island GI 10mm 1911. Came in, he was fiddling with it at Rural King. Couldn't get the mag to go in. He's like, well, this is weird. So the guy behind the counter picks it up, punches the mag in, and said, you just weren't pushing it hard enough. And Dad's like, okay, whatever. I've had a 1911 before. I'm experienced with firearms, but whatever. So he gets home, can't get the mags to work or to go in and out, and trigger doesn't work.
Yep.
So it's a bent trigger bar.
Yep.
So he contacts Rock Island. They send him a shipping label. He sends it to them. A couple days later, he calls Rock Island, gets a hold of the master gunsmith or whatever, and
That's a joke.
Yeah, but gets a hold of whoever it was, and the guy's like, well, your gun's sitting on the counter right in front of me. And my dad's like, what's wrong with it? He said, it needs a new trigger. And Dad said, can you dovetail the front sight for me too while you have it there? The guy's like, yep. So nice. they dovetailed the sights and put on some Novak sights for him while it was there too.
Nice. For free?
No.
Oh, dang it. They should have done that for free for having to send the dang thing back.
But still.
There is no...
He's like, I told the guy my order number, and he picked up my gun, and he goes, holy cow, you need a new trigger. Dad's like, yeah. Hadn't even shot it yet.
Jeez. Yeah, those trigger bars are kind of finicky if you don't fit them right.
But on a good note, they fixed his gun for free, and they're sending it back to him.
That's good, at least. I mean, I would be very questionable about the customer service if they didn't fix it for free.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry,
option 2 was going to you. So.
Yeah. Well, and I would have done the same thing: replace the trigger bar, replace the trigger and trigger bar, and give it some nice pretties inside. Harry would like to know, why wouldn't Max shoot an X5 226? Capacity is the only major limiting factor that he sees.
I feel like back when the X5 226 was really popular, they had an X6 as well. Maybe I'm wrong. Humble, am I spitting the truth here?
No, you're right. I think they did do one.
Okay. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. It's just not I don't know. Why wouldn't he shoot an X5 P226? I think it's probably just a profit margin thing because they make the P320s in America, and all the old X5s are German made.
Well, and the 320 X5 Legion is the new great. And I mean, yeah, he's going to use that.
And honestly, the 320 probably shoots better.
It does. I mean, you get the best of both worlds. You get the weight of a steel gun and the flexy bits of a polymer gun. Man, I want to shoot one of those.
The P320, I'm not P320, excuse me, the P10. I actually like it better than the X5.
Than the Legion?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a shining endorsement compared to what you said about 20 minutes ago.
I mean, the Legion's got its issues. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it's not perfect either. It's very flippy due to how high the bore axis is, and it's very heavy.
Yeah,
it did a lot of things right, giving you the 1911 guide rod, so you can tune the springs. Gave you good sights. It has good magazines that come with it. Like it. You have to buy base plates for it, but you have to do that on any gun anyway.
Do we know?
But
did SIG patent that tungsten infusion that they're doing? Because I would love to see that.
It wasn't theirs. Somebody else is doing it first.
Somebody else did it first.
They aped it. They aped it from an aftermarket company. I'd be surprised if they did. I mean, they could.
That being said, I wouldn't put it past them to do that because they, with the patents in the springs or in the magazine for the 365, they cross-patented some stuff that they stole with that. They stole stuff and then patented it out from under the other people. So I wouldn't put it past them. SIG is kind of shady like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, I could return the P3 or P10 from recoil better than the P320, but I could shoot the P320 at distance much more easily due to the trigger shape and the ergonomics are better. But it's flippier and it's just not as stable in the hand during recoil as the P10. And I think you could make a P10 more precise easier than you could make a P320 return to zero. So I think an HPI trigger on a P10 would probably make it about as good as you could get because the bore axis is so low on those that I don't think you need the weight. The
P10 does have pretty low. The SIG, man, I don't know how they ended up getting such a freaking high bore axis. No, I do know how. They took their hammer frame.
P250.
Yeah, they took what was essentially a hammer framed gun and stuck striker parts inside it. But I would really like to see both CZ and Glock use some of that tungsten infused. That would actually be really cool if they could infuse just the front half underneath the barrel with the tungsten and just throw all the weight up there. Kind of like Humble's guide rod, except built into the frame.
On that note, I'm going to bug out for the night.
I'm getting close.
I am sleepy and I have to take a shower still.
All right, man. Well, thank you, Builder, for stopping by. I'd ask you where they can find you, but you don't post things anymore.
Nowhere.
So just leave.
See you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for showing up. Have a good one. Humble, you good for a little bit longer? All right.
Yeah, hit the sack, my man.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to head out too because it's been a long day. Just a second. I just got a chat in. Hardly use. Many Things would asks, what piece of gear do you have in your range bag that you hardly use, but you're very glad you have it in your bag when you need it? I've got my answer already. What's yours if you got it?
Squib rod.
Yep.
I have a ball peen hammer and a brass rod. And usually it's not me who needs it, but somebody needs it. And when they need it badly. So squib rod.
Mine is a wide. I don't know if I've got one up here. It's a wide like pipe brush for cleaning mags out because we've got most of our range is gravel, and I've had more than one mag get dirty to the point where I need to pull it apart really quick and toss a brush down it. And I don't use it every match. I've used it twice in 2.5 years, but when you need it, you need it. So thanks really quick.
I think that's standard equipment. Honestly, I've got one of those. I don't need it now that I'm in Texas as much as I did when I was in Georgia. But I mean, that's in my opinion, that's standard equipment. Everyone should have one of those.
I don't disagree, but he just asked what piece of gear, not piece of extra gear.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thanks, Locke. Locke donated $20 on our on a super chat. So thank you to that man. As always, we appreciate that, and that helps us out big time. We actually got Builder a new microphone this past week because we couldn't hear him 2 weeks ago. So with that, so thanks again, Locke. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Humble probably needs to go inside from sitting out and listening to the rain, and I am tired. So with that, thank you, everybody. Humble, where can they find you?
Right here on YouTube. The Humble Marksman, on Instagram, also the Humble Marksman, and on Facebook as the Humble Marksman.
All good places. If you guys are into USPSA or any type of competition or competitive shooting, or you just like go fast parts that are not crap, and you would like to see reviews on them, go over to Humble's channel and check it out because he is a wealth of knowledge in all of those things. As for me, you can find me here on Facebook and on Instagram at Work the Trigger. With that, thank you, everybody. As always, we have had a blast. remember to stop back by here in about 2 weeks, and we'll do another live chat. And Patreon. Yeah, you can find both the Humble Marksman and myself on Patreon. The Humble Marksman is patreon.com/the Humble Marksman, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then mine is patreon.com/work the trigger. So thank you guys. Remember to keep an eye out. We will have our giveaway results coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And with that, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.